Yeah, hello friends, good morning and welcome to this session. This is a seminar for Windows Server Administration and Network Administration. Okay, so today we will try to see what is this Windows Administration and Network Administration and why it is needed for us, why we have to learn this and what are the job opportunities we have on Windows Administration and the Network Administration. Fine. Okay, so before I proceed, I just want to inform you there is a chat box here. I'm sending a message in the chat box here. I just sent hello there. So whenever you have any doubts, any questions regarding any of the topic that we are discussing today or maybe tomorrow or for whenever. So this chat box will be always open actually. So feel free to send me a message in the chat box. Okay. Whenever there is a question or whenever there is a query or whatever, please feel free to send a query in the chat box. I'll come to your question whenever I get a time. Or once I get your question, I'll come to your question. Fine, no issues. Okay. Now, what is this Windows Server Administration and Network Administration? So to understand Windows Administration and the Network Administration, first of all, we should know a computer network. Now, what you see on your screen is a computer network. So in a general terminology, can you please tell me what is a computer network? Okay, I'll go with what is a computer network, no issues. Now see here, computer network means devices connected with each other. That is a computer network, very simple. Devices connected with each other. What are the devices here? When I say devices, there are certain devices we need to mention here, like computers, servers, routers, switches, firewall, and we have some cables and printers and CCTV cameras, and we have like some more devices like wireless devices, voice devices, and all those things. So I'm not writing each and everything there. I'm just writing whatever is mandatory for a computer network. Of course, cable is part of your computer network. It's not a device because we cannot configure it, but it is a media. Using cable, we can connect all the devices with each other, right? So these are the most common devices you will see in a computer network. Okay, so when you go and look at this diagram here, you can see clearly there is a server here. Actually, in this diagram, there is only one server. In this topology, there is only one server. But you know, I can say with 100% guarantee, you will not see any computer network anywhere. Maybe the company is very small also. You will not see a smallest of company with one server. One server is not at all sufficient. You will have many servers. Okay, 4, 10, 15, 20, 10, 12, 15, 20 servers are like very, they will be there in small companies actually. But once you go to medium to big level company, these servers can be in hundreds. What is a server that we will see? But right now I'm saying there is a machine called a server machine, and there will not be one server in a company. There will be multiple servers in a company. Fine. And coming to routers, this is your router. One more very, very important device. What is a router? We will see. What is a switch? We will see. Computers, we know this very well. Computers and laptops we are using for many years now. Okay. And firewalls, of course, there will be a firewall. In most of the companies, there will be a firewall. If not all, in most of the companies, there will be a firewall. And you can see there is internet connection coming here. So these are the most common devices we have in a computer network, and they will be connected like this. Okay, so there is a computer network. Okay, I got a question here from Hemant. Morning batch available? Yeah, Hemant, this is your 10 a.m. batch actually, if that is morning for you.
Sir, actually, it is my office timing is 10 to 7. It is the morning batch is available 8 to 9.
Morning batches. Yeah, morning batches will be available from next week actually. As of now, we are starting batches at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m.
Okay.
Actually, many people are asking about morning batch. So we'll do one thing. We'll just, complete this seminar. Then hopefully the management will decide something. So morning batch is also available, but maybe not this week, maybe next week. But in case many people are asking about morning batch, maybe we can go down to like morning 7 a.m. or 7:30 a.m. something like that.
Okay.
There,
Thank you,
there
sir.
is a there is a possibility. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine. So what we said, computer network is connection of devices. That's good. All good. Now, why we are connecting devices? That is a very basic question that we need to understand. There is a very basic question that we need to address. Okay, connecting devices is all good. We can see clearly server is connected to switch, router is connected to switch. Okay, computers are connected to switch. But why we are connecting them? Now, the main purpose of connecting devices with each other is actually sharing. What we can share? We can share data. We can share hardware. We can share software. We can share remote devices. We can share internet, etc. These are some of the things that we can share over a computer network. So why we are connecting all the devices with each other? We are connecting all the devices with each other because we can share data, we can share internet, we can share hardware, and so and so. This is the main purpose of connecting devices. See, if there are two computers and if they are not connected with each other, can we share data between them? Of course, we can share data between them without a computer network also. But how? You should take a pen drive and you should copy the data in the pen drive and take the pen drive to the second computer and paste the data there and copy. That is where we can share data, right? But what if there are some tens and hundreds and thousands of computers? Can we do the same process in all the hundreds of computers by using a pen drive? That's like too much for asking, right? It's not easy for anyone to take a pen drive and go to like 300 computers or 500 computers or maybe 3000 computers and copy the data in 3000 computers. It will take a lot of time there. So what we do here, whatever the number of devices you may have, maybe like you have like 30 devices, very, very small company, 30, 50 devices. You still connect all the 30, 50 devices with each other and you will keep data in a central location that is known as a server. Come again. You just, connect all the devices with each other. Okay. And there will be a special device in a company that is called server. And what you do in this server, you will keep all the data and you'll provide security from server. You'll provide sharing from server. You will say, okay, these are the files and folders we have. These are the documents we have. These are the projects on which we are working. So how many people should connect to this data? How many people should connect to this server and how many people should access data from this server? So all the permissions should be given from the server. So according to the permissions of server, the configuration of data will be done or the accessing of data will be done actually. I repeat, according to the configuration of data, or according to the permissions given on that particular file or folder, the users can access their files and folders. If there is a user who is not allowed to access a particular file, he cannot access that file. That's it. But if there is a user who is allowed to access a particular file or a document or a folder, then he can connect to that file or a document. So with a network, with a server, especially in a network, there is central administration. We can control everything from central location. Okay. So there will be a server called file server. Remember I told you one server is not at all sufficient. We will have multiple servers in our network. We have many servers in our network. So one of the server here is a file server and there we have like all the data and there is administrator who is controlling or managing that particular file server. So in our Windows administration, Windows Server administration, we need to learn what is a file server and how to configure and how to manage that. That is one of the server. Okay, so that is the purpose of a computer network, sharing data, hardware, printer. So printer is connected here, you can say clearly. Printer is physically connected to the network, but any person sitting on any computer, can he take the printout or can she take the printout? Answer is no. there should be permission for that user. If there is a permission for that user, then only he or she can take the printout. So who should give the permissions? This Windows Server administrators will give the permission. Okay, that is the work of the Windows Server administrator actually. Okay, now coming to server, what we do in server? In server, we create the user account. Like suppose there is a user working here with the name, let's say Hemant. Okay, Hemant is working here and there is one more user, his name is Ravi. So where is this Ravi user created? And where is this Hemant user created? See, Ravi user and Hemant user, they are not created in the local computers. The accounts will be created in the server actually. Ravi account will be created in server as well as Hemant account will be created in server. But you know what we do as administrator, we will allow Ravi user and Hemant user to go to any one of the computer and access their account and work. That is actually a scenario. I repeat, Ravi account is created here. Hemant account is created here. Fine. They are created in server. And who will create the account? The administrator will create the account. After creating the account, administrator will allow them to use any one of this computer. So Ravi can access this machine. And Hemant can access this machine. But where is the account? It is in server. Now from server, the administrator can control Ravi account and Hemant account. Like suppose administrator will say like, okay, Hemant should not access his account in this computer. For whatever reason, he should not access his account in this computer. So if Hemant is trying to log in into that machine, let us say Hemant will go there. He is trying to log in here. So when he's trying to log in here, you know what happens here? He will get a message that you cannot log in into this machine. See, such a simple scenario, right? There are some tens and hundreds or maybe thousands of computers here. You can decide as administrator, this particular Hemant user should access which machine. This Hemant user should log into which machine. So that configuration you do in server actually. If you say Hemant should access only machine number, let us say I will name this machine as, these are technically known as client machines. So I will name this machine as client, let's say 234. You said Hemant should access his account only in client 234. Now where is Hemant now? He is trying to access his account in some other machine. So when he tries to access his account in some other machine, you know what happens here? There is a process called authentication and authorization. It's a very simple process that we will see in more details. So what is authentication and what is authorization here? Now listen, authentication means whenever user is accessing the account, the user computer, that is a client computer, it will send a message to the server asking for server to authenticate or asking for server to like check the username and password if it is matching with the database or not. If the username and password is matching, then the server will allow the computer to log in with that user account. Okay, that is fine. That is your authentication, checking username and password. Now there is one more thing here that is called authorization. Now what happens in authorization? In authorization, it will check whether this particular user can access this particular machine or not. Now, what is the name of this machine here? The name of this machine is, let's say, client 467 or 567. That is the name of that machine. So the computer will send a message like, okay, Hemant user is trying to access his account in client 567. Is he allowed to access? Can he log in here? Now again, this server will verify. Server will say like, no. Hemant is accessing the account in client 567, but he is not allowed to access his account in any machine except client 234. See, this is not a rocket science, right? Such a simple concept here. This is what happens in the company. This is what happens in the real setup. We will manage our users and we will manage our computers and all those things. Okay. So by using a server, that is what we do. The advantage of a computer network is sharing data, remote access, all those things, remote access, internet, and all those things. Okay. But within the computer network, we have many devices. There are different devices for different work. So what is the work of a server? The work of a server is to manage the network or to serve the request of the client. To serve the request. Someone is requesting for a website like say facebook.com. Now server will decide whether that particular person can be served with the facebook.com or not. Because internet is coming, so obviously Facebook will come. Obviously, you can go and watch India versus South Africa match there, or you can go and watch the Ashes there, or you can go and watch maybe like English Premier League or La Liga and all those things. Right? Internet is coming, means everything will come there. But now the server will decide whether a particular person or whether a particular group or all the users in the company are allowed to access so and so on the internet or not. Once the internet is connected, everything is accessible over the internet, but there is not our private machine, right? Or that is not our private internet connection. That is a company's internet connection. So now the server administrator or the network administrator have to configure something. They should say like, okay, no one should access any website related to any games. Maybe it is soccer, or maybe it is cricket, or maybe it is like tennis or whatever. They should not access. No one should access any, movies or some online series and all those things. So they will block something like Netflix, and they will block something like Hotstar or Sony Live or whatever. These things will be denied. Getting what I'm saying here, friends? This is what we do as an administrator. This is called administration. Okay, so although internet connection is coming, sharing internet connection is not a big deal. It's very easy. Take the internet connection and share with all the people. That is a very easy process. But what a person should access and how much he should access, okay, configuring all these settings will take a lot of time. People will be allowed to access google.com. They can access. It's not a big deal to access google.com, right? But can they access a website there with the name, let us say, any website which is related to jobs? Like, in India, we have many jobs website like naukri.com or indeedjobs.com and many more we have, right? In companies, this particular job websites will be denied. No one should access the job websites. So anyhow, this is what we do as the administrator. We will take servers, we will install the server operating system. And in this server operating system, we will install something called services. Now that is the main point I need to come in a bit details actually. So when I say we can block something, we can allow something, we can deny something, we can give permissions on a file, we can give permissions on a folder and all those things, that is possible by using a server. But when I say server, server is physical as well as logical actually. See, when you take a physical server, that we will see hopefully from tomorrow. So when you take a physical server, and on that physical server, when you install a server operating system, that is not sufficient. Actually, server means there is something called service, or there are something called services. Server means services. Remember I told you what is server? Server means services. Like what? Like there is a service called DNS service. There is a service called DHCP service. There is a service called ADDS service. All these are services actually. So in a server, we are installing some services, and by using these services, we are managing our network. And every service has a special role. Every service has a special work to do. Okay, DNS service, DHCP service, ADDS service, mail service, file service. Every service has a special role to do. Every service has a special role to play in our computer network. So whenever you're learning any server administration, actually there are two major server administration courses. One is Windows Server Administration, another one is Linux Server Administration. I hope you heard about Linux somewhere before. So one is Windows, another one is Linux. So in Windows, we are learning DNS, DHCP, all these services. In Linux also you're learning DNS, DHCP. But there are certain services which are only in Windows, and there are very few services which are there only for Linux. Like one of the most important service that you're going to learn in Windows is ADDS, Active Directory Domain Services. This service is related only to the Windows machines. This service is related only in the Windows servers. So this is one of the major service you will be learning in our coming classes. And this ADDS will take nearly 60 to 65% of your course. This is such an important part of your server administration. So anyhow, these are the different services we have. So what is the work of a server administrator now? The work of a server administrator is to control our network, to manage our users, to control our data, to provide some security. Okay. The authentication and authorization process we need to enable. So all these things we do as a server administrator. Okay, there is a question here, like DNS will come under ADDS only in Windows. There is actually a concept there. ADDS actually is a different concept. DNS is a different concept. But you know, for installing and configuring of ADDS, DNS is must. Okay, I can say like this: for installation and configuration of ADDS, DNS is must. But if I say DNS comes under ADDS, that is not correct actually. DNS is a different service. ADDS is a different service. Both will be installed separately and both will be configured separately. So what I can say as of now is ADDS is a major service. DNS is a major service. DNS can work without ADDS, but ADDS cannot work without DNS. Okay, fine. So I hope the concept is clear here. Windows Server Administration. What we do here, we just, control our network. It is not just controlling a network. Actually, this is one of the most responsible job a person will have in the company. Managing a computer network through servers is not a normal job. It's a very, very responsible job. Servers are the core of any business. Server is the core of any network. Servers will keep all the data. Server will have the information of all the users. So if someone is manipulating the servers, if someone is misusing the information or misusing the servers, then the business is at risk. Okay, so servers will be managed by server administrators. So you should learn how to manage them. And if there are Windows server, this is what you are going to learn in our coming classes: how to manage a network using Windows server. Got it? Now, the next thing here is about network administration. See, what is the other part here? Network administration. So these are the two courses you have to learn for sure to start your career in computer networking. Both are different courses, but both are talking about a computer network only. It's not like server administrator is from one thing and if network administration is coming from another. No, both are about networking only. Both are about computer networks only. So what is server administrator? It is administration. It is talking about servers. But coming to network administration, there are two devices that you're going to learn in network administration. One device is your router and the other device is your switch. In network administration, you will be learning about the switch and you'll be learning about this router. You cannot see a company, you will not see a network anywhere on the face of the earth where the computers are connected with each other or the branches are communicating with each other without a router and a switch. Literally not possible. You cannot connect computers with each other without a switch. Okay, someone can say like there is a hub, but hub is outdated actually. Before switch, there was a hub which is outdated, but still, it looks like a switch. So whether it is hub or a switch, I can say one thing. The computer network cannot be established. The computers cannot communicate with each other. The network cannot communicate with the other network, that is a branch office, without a router or a switch. These are the two most important devices we have in our computer network. Like server is a very, very important device. In the same way, router and switch also very, very, very important part of our computer network. So what exactly we do by using these devices? Let us try to see in a very simple way. Because it will take 35 days for us to complete server administration, 35 days to complete network administration. So we cannot just dig too deep today. We're just trying to understand the concept so that you get a proper idea. Okay, this is what this particular course is all about. And this is what we are learning. And this is a place where we can apply for a job. Okay, so router. Okay, just increase this size. Router makes communication between two or more different networks. That is a very simple way of defining a router. What it says, router makes communication between two or more different networks. Okay, take any XYZ company, like we know banking sectors very well. And we know many hospitals which have branches in many locations. So whatever a company or whichever company that has one or maybe like 1 million branches, it doesn't matter. How to make communication between two different branches? To make communication between two different branches. Now, two different branches are located within a city or within your country or maybe anywhere on the globe. If there are two branches or multiple branches you have in your company, then router is the device that will make communication between these two branches. Imagine one branch is in South Delhi, another branch is in North Delhi, for example. And the distance between South Delhi and North Delhi is, let us say, 50 kilometers. So who will make communication here? Router will make communication between these two branches. Imagine one branch is in Delhi, one branch is somewhere in Kerala. Within a city, within a country, right? Delhi and Kerala. So who will make communication here? A router will make communication. Now imagine one branch is in India and another branch is there somewhere in, let us say, Argentina, or maybe another branch is there somewhere in, like say, Russia, or somewhere in maybe like Korea. So who will make communication here? Again, router will make communication. See, we have covered within the city, within the country, and all over the globe, different continents. So wherever the branch is located, router will make communication between these branches. Now, before we discuss anything else about router, I just want to show you a router here. Normally whenever we discuss about router, people just think of the router that they have in their home, the Wi-Fi router, maybe they think, but that is not the router we are learning here, friends. Router is actually a device like this. What you see on your screen is actually a router. And what you see in your home, that is just a Wi-Fi router to just take internet connection. By using that Wi-Fi router, we cannot make communication between like Delhi and Kerala or Hyderabad and Chennai. That's not possible. What you see right now on your screen is the real router that we are going to learn. There is something called serial port here. There is a fast Ethernet port here. There is a console port. There is an auxiliary port. Okay, so all these things you're going to learn in your CCNA course. And this is your actual router. Okay, if I can show you some more routers here. This is a big router actually. Cisco 12,000 series. Cisco is a company that is responsible for manufacturing routers and switches. Cisco is one of the most famous companies that manufacture routers and switches. Like, if I say example like Samsung, whenever I say Samsung, what comes in your mind? Mobile phones will come in your mind, refrigerators will come in your mind, laptops will come in your mind, ACs will come in your mind. So that is a company that manufacture all these devices. Yeah. Have you ever seen a car or a bike that is manufactured by the Samsung company? No, it's not in that business, right? So Cisco is a company that is into the business of manufacturing the hardware components like routers, switches, and firewalls and all those things. This is also actually one router. Okay, you can see there is something called fast Ethernet port. It is written clearly here: serial port, console port, auxiliary port. So all these things we are going to discuss in our CCNA course. What is a router? What are the types of routers we have? How to connect? What are the ports we have on the router? Okay, how to connect a router in Hyderabad with a router in the Chennai? Okay, what protocols we need to configure there? What configuration we have to do this? All these things you are going to learn in your network administration course, that is your CCNA. Okay, so router makes communication between two or more different networks. That is the main purpose of a router. Now, the other purpose of a router is router can also be used as a firewall. By using router, we can even share the internet connection. But if you're not using router to share internet connection, we can still use a server to share the internet connection. If you're not using router to provide security, you can still use a server or a firewall to provide security. So there are some devices which are there for like multiple purpose. But who will make communication between different networks? Beside router, there is no other device that can make communication between different networks. That's it. Like if you want to make a call, you will use a mobile phone, right? But by using laptop also we can make a call. Like you can go to like your Zoom app, or maybe like there are some apps available using which you can make a call, right? So mobile phone is not the only device using which we can make a call. If you want to take a photo, mobile phone is not the only device that can take a photo, right? We have like camera also, and there is a camera in your laptop also. There are certain ways in which we can do. There are many devices which can perform the same task. Okay, but there are certain devices which can do the task that cannot be done by any other device. So router is such a device. Actually, it makes communication between different networks which are there in different locations. So this is one of the very, very, very important part of your learning process. What is router, types of router, configuration, installation, troubleshooting, all these things we are going to learn about router. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now the next device is switch. Okay, this is a very simple way of describing this switch. What I said here, I said switch connects all the devices within a network. See the network carefully, friends. Router is connected to switch, server is connected to switch, laptop, desktop, printer, all the devices are connected to switch. Okay, I'll just show you one switch here. Let us see how it looks. It will be easy for you to understand. Now the switches will look like this. Done. And you can see clearly, this is also a Cisco switch. Cisco is written here in bold letters clearly. So this is a Cisco switch. So again, Cisco is a company that is famous for manufacturing these routers and switches. Not only manufacturing, they have their own operating system. So they have their own set of commands, and they have their own set of protocols and configurations and all those things. So we just need to learn what is there inside the switch. For example, when you use WhatsApp, or if you're teaching someone in your family, like elders of your family, to use how to use WhatsApp, what we do? We just go to the WhatsApp and we show the options that are available in the WhatsApp, right? Like, okay, this is the way we can send an emoji. This is the way we can make a voice call. This is the way we can make a video call. This is the way we can send a message. Okay, this is the way we can delete something. This is the way we can block something. So whatever I said here, all the options are available in WhatsApp. Am I right? Each and every option is available in WhatsApp. We are not adding any option from our side in the WhatsApp. It is already there. Some 6-7 years before, there was no option of making a video call in WhatsApp, but now we have this. So who is developing all these things? People who are sitting at the WhatsApp office, or people who are sitting in that particular company, they are developing all these features. Okay, now we have like group WhatsApp call also. 4 people can talk to each other at same time. So these are the new things added there. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is, whatever WhatsApp is offering us, we have to use only those things. We cannot add anything from our side, or we cannot, remove anything from our side. Whatever they are offering, we have to use the same features. In the same way, friends, whether it is router, switch, computer, server, firewall, whatever the device, every device has a certain configuration. Every device has certain set of commands. Every device has certain set of protocol. So what we are learning here is, we are simply learning what a particular device is offering us. We are not making anything from our side. We are not adding any new features there. We are not making any new changes there. Whatever is there in a router that we need to learn, whatever is there in a switch that we need to learn, everything is already there. I'm just trying to make your learning process a bit more easier here. What I'm saying here is, whatever is there in a router that we need to learn. For example, there is a software called Cisco Packet Tracer. I'll come to the Cisco Packet Tracer later. We can make a network by using the Cisco Packet Tracer actually. So this is a complete network. So don't worry about all these things as of now. We'll see in more details in coming classes. But what I'm trying to show you here is, this is a router. I said no. I'm saying enable. I'm saying config T. I said host name. I'll enter my name as Shakil. See, what is the name now? See, I entered the command enable because that is the command. I entered the command as config t, that is the command. I entered the command as hostname, that is the command. Okay, now I'll say exit. I'll say exit. Now, if I say something like this, so what it says, it is not accepting now. It is showing me some error. That means whatever commands are there in the router, those commands we need to learn. We cannot add anything from our side. So in this same way, router, server, or switch, the configuration is already there. It's already set. We just need to like make changes there. We just need to know how to use them. The best example I can give here is this one. I think most of us knows how to use MS Word file, right? See, I have written Windows Administration, Windows Admin and Network Admin here. Can I change the color of Windows Admin? We know this very well. Like we can do this. Can I change the color of Network Admin? Of course, I can do this. Can I change the color of and? Of course, I can do this. Can I change the fonts here? Of course, I can do this. See, when I go to this color, I have seen, we can see this many colors, or I can go to more colors and I can see those colors. But you know, there are many more colors beside these colors actually. So if a color is not available in these colors, can we just add that color here? Answer is no. See, I can select this and I can go to this fonts and I can select a font here. See, Windows Server admin font has been changed. But you know, we can see all these fonts here. So what I'm trying to say here is whatever fonts you see here, you can use only these fonts. We cannot use a font that is not available here. This is this best example you can take, friends. Okay, whatever is available here, you can use only those options. In the same way, whatever is available in a router, whatever is available in a switch or a server, these are the things we need to learn. We are not making a technology. The technology is already there. The configurations are already there. We just need to learn how to use them according to our scenario. We just need to learn how to configure them. Like, you know, when you travel on a road, on a bike or maybe in a car, you know how to drive a bike or you know how to ride a bike or drive a car. So if the road is empty, you may go up to like 70, 80 kilometers per hour. But if you're in traffic, you should go at a speed of like, you know, 15, 20. Maybe you should take a lot of breaks there. So there is a setting in your bike and there are some settings in your car. So you should know how to use them. You should know all the settings, but how you're using them, it's up to you. If you're on a highway, you cannot go at a speed of like 15 or 20 kilometers per hour, right? It's literally not possible because some other person can bang you. But if you're in the middle of the traffic, can you go at a speed of like 70 to 80 kilometers per hour? Of course, no, you're banging some other person now. Got it what I'm saying here? So that simple logic you need to understand. So the devices have the predefined configuration. So according to our use, we have to use these devices. We have to do the configuration of the devices. So once you do your Windows Server administration and network administration, you are eligible to work in any company as an administrator. Companies have like, you know, network routers and switches and all those things. Each and every company has a router, switch and a server. You cannot see a company without router, switch and server for sure. Of course, computers will be there. Computers we know very well. So I'm not focusing more on computers. So every computer network has these 3 devices. So Windows Server administration is dealing about servers and computers as well as their data and their configuration. There are many things we need to learn there. But majorly, if I talk about devices, this is your Windows Server administration. And the yellow color one that I've highlighted there, router and switch, is about network administration. I hope the concept is clear, friends. What we are going to learn in Windows administration and network administration, you will get an email from the management and that email have all the details. All the topics are clearly mentioned there. Those are the topics we are learning. So no need to worry about the topics. But as of now, just try to understand what exactly is the administration. Okay, so like I said, the chat box is always open. You can send me any question, any query there. So feel free to like, you know, interact with me, not only today. When you are coming for the classes, regular classes, then also you should always, you know, be comfortable in the class and you should always send the messages. You should always send your questions or queries into the chat box. If you're not asking questions, see, what is the advantage of attending an online class with a trainer? So you can get the videos also. You can just call the Durgasoft people and they can share the videos. You can pay money and they will provide you the videos. Some of my existing class videos. But there is no use. There is no use in the sense because you cannot, interact with the trainer there. So the advantage of attending online class with a trainer is you have the option of clearing your doubts. Suppose we are discussing a topic today and you have a doubt in that particular topic, and if you're not clearing that doubt for some reason, when you come to the next topic, the doubt will become bigger because today's topic is connected to tomorrow's topic. This is the way the networking courses are designed. Okay, so as of now, this course is from Monday at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. This is your Windows Server Admin. Okay, and the other course is also on Monday at 11 a.m. That is your Network Admin. After like a couple of days, there will be a gap of like 5 minutes between these two classes. But as of now, these are the classes. Many people are asking about the timings. They are planning to come early morning, like 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m., whatever. We will see. But as of now, at least for tomorrow, we'll start at this time. The 3-4 classes will be like demo classes. In demo classes, I'll be explaining all the basic things. Before I take you to the administration, I need to cover all the basics here. So after covering all the basics, I can simply take you into the administration part. That will be very easy for you to understand administration. Instead of discussing administration on day one, we'll just go with the basic part first, then we'll go with the administration part. Okay. So starting for 3 to 4 classes will be like the basics and the demos and all those things. Okay. One more thing. What are the advantages you have in this course? Or what are the advantages you have attending the courses with this Durgasoft Institute? One is each and every class is recorded. Every class, this class is also recorded actually, and this class will be uploaded on YouTube within like half an hour or 1 hour maybe. So this is a Durgasoft. You can see all the classes are uploaded already here. So every class will be recorded and the classes will be uploaded on YouTube. Initial classes will be uploaded on YouTube, 3-4 classes. After 3-4 classes, each and every class will be shared with you directly. Only 3 to 4 classes will be there on YouTube and remaining classes will be shared with the person directly. Let me show you that also once, how the classes will be shared with you. So this is my existing CCNA class at morning 8:30. See, all these classes are shared with them.
This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
It will be 512.0.19. Okay, fine. So this is the way the classes will be shared with you. And the next thing will be like you will get some lab books. I have created lab books for Windows administration as well as network administration, so that it will be easy for you to like do practicals. Then you will get interview questions and answers that will help you a lot in attending the interviews. And the fourth advantage here is you will get some softwares to do practicals. You just need to have a computer with you. If you have a computer, you can do all practicals there. Okay. Is it will be continue tomorrow also same time? Shall we attend those classes? Yeah, that is what I said, right? Tomorrow also same time at 10 a.m. you will be coming for MCSE, and then at 11 a.m. you will be coming for like CCN. If you want to come for like 2 classes parallelly on a same day, you can do that. No issues. At least 2 courses you can do in a day, so you can attend these 2 courses, and before the end of January 2022, hopefully, God willing, you will finish your course. you'll finish both the courses. It will take 35 days. So you can easily do this because January will have like 30 days, 31 days, as well as like your December will have 31 days. So easily you can finish at the end of January if we start from tomorrow. Got it? So these are the advantages you have. You'll get all the classes as recorded classes, and the fees will be in the recorded classes only. The recorded classes will be in the fees only. They are not charging separate fees for the recorded classes. As some institutes, they do that, but no. Classes and the recorded classes will come in the same fees. Okay. Books, interview questions, and softwares. All these are provided by me actually. So it will come within your fees. So tomorrow at 10 a.m. we are going to start our Windows Server administration, and exactly at 11 a.m. we will be starting our network administration. So both the classes in same day. So most of the people will be coming for both the classes because they can finish in like 35 days. Then they can take a career decision. Actually, they can apply for jobs on this Windows and network administration for sure. Or if they want to go with like other technologies like cloud computing, virtualization, or security, or ethical hacking, then they are more than eligible to learn all these courses. They can go with these courses also. I'll be handling Windows Server here, Linux Server here, network administration, that is CCNA, as well as cloud computing, that is AWS. I'll be taking this many courses here. But right now, these are the 2 courses I'm starting here. Okay, fine. So anything else, friends? You have any other questions, any doubts? Thanks a lot for joining today. Today is Sunday. It's not an easy day to attend for any class. But anyhow, thanks a lot. I hope this session was useful for you. I hope you understood what exactly the server administration and the network administration is all about. I'm done from my side here, friends. I'll be here for like a couple of minutes only for you. If you have any doubts, we will see. And then we can stop the session.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, one doubts in the session. It is covering a CCN and Microsoft server, right?
10 o'clock, we will be covering Windows servers, Microsoft servers, and 11 o'clock, we will be covering CCN. Both are different courses.
Okay. Then it is a jump in AWS and Azure clouds. It is a difference. It is a major difference in Azure clouds and AWS.
See, AWS and Azure both are cloud computing actually. So
Okay.
after completing these courses, you can go and learn the AWS and Azure. So what is it in cloud computing? There are some servers, there are some routers, there are some IP addressing. So whatever you learn in Windows administration and network administration, all these topics will help you in understanding cloud computing better. Like for example, I'll give a very basic example here. There is a concept called IP addressing in our CCNA. IP addressing is one of the most important topic we have. What is the topic? It is called IP addressing. Okay. Now, IP address will take around 5 classes for us to complete. It's huge, right? 5 classes for one topic is huge. There is something called IP addressing, subnetting, VLSM, and all those things. So this IP addressing will help you in understanding cloud computing, because whenever you do cloud computing, you see like, oh, there is an IP address, but you don't know what is IP address in cloud computing. You're not learning about IP addressing in cloud computing. You will be learning IP addressing only in CCNA. So what I'm trying to say here is these 2 courses are like the starting of your career. Like, school is there, intermediate is there, then bachelor's and master's, right? So your cloud computing is something like bachelor's maybe. Have you ever seen a person who has not attended school or 10 plus 2 and is pursuing bachelor's? That's not possible, right? You should start from a, sequence. There is a sequence for everything. So Windows administration and network administration is the initials of your career. So this will help you in cloud computing, because like I said, in cloud computing, the routing concept will come, the server concepts will come, all the concepts will repeat again in cloud computing.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah, fine. Okay, friends, so that's it for today. Again, thanks for joining. And like I said, this class will be uploaded, this seminar will be uploaded on YouTube within like 1 hour or so, and the remaining classes will be there shared with you directly. Okay, So that's it, friends. That's it for today. Thanks again for joining and very good luck for you. Have a nice day and see you tomorrow. Bye.